when we first started hanging out, you were still...
I was so straight. That's how it works. Don't cancel him.
Thank
Yes.
you. Dan, the man, the myth, the legend. What do you think happens when you take a depressed teenager who's been forced to suppress an entire part of their identity and have them upload to YouTube for 13 years to be torn apart and scrutinized by millions? I'm Anthony Padilla, and I spent today with Daniel Howard to find out. Hello, Dan.
What is this? What is this?
Are you a robot? What is this?
What was that hand gesture?
I was trying to force your hand into mine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But were you going for the bro handshake?
No.
Because you know that I don't do that. Okay.
I was doing this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you might need some assistance with your hand.
Yes. And
Because you were
putting
very
this there?
robotic.
Hi.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausing.
Okay, well, we
I feel like I'm meeting the president.
Thank you. Oh, you feel like
That
you're
was a
meeting the president? I feel like I'm
presidential
meeting a better dressed clone of myself. Do you like what I went for today?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
so I
is
looked in the mirror and I
literally-
thought, I am going to wear my most Anthony outfit.
I walked
which
out
is
to greet
rips.
you.
Hello.
It's exactly the
and
same
then
outfit.
I have this sweater, which is also just rips and zips and crap, because do you know what your style is?
Rips
Just like
and
rips
zips and crap.
TM.
People used to say that we looked identical. I don't think I see it anymore.
Don't say we look like each other. Because we don't. Because we don't.
No,
I think
no.
we've grown, we've
Yeah.
evolved, or was it just the hair?
No, you've gone on like a nice, positive journey with your hair and your body and your clothes, and like my whole life is just slowly imploding downhill.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
So like there was a point, and then since then, we're going in different directions. That's okay. It's good for us.
Remember how when I was at your live show
Yeah.
and you were doing your gay crush tier list?
So first up is Anthony. Not to be weird, Anthony Padilla is sat right there. Hi, Anthony. This is not weird. This is not about you. This is about me. Okay.
I was already trying to deal with the fact that you just called me out on your gay
You were like, I
crush
didn't ask
list.
to be. There was a lot to process.
I
You were
did
like,
not ask
I'm
to be.
on Dan's gay crush tier list.
Yeah.
You just pointed at me in a room full of people on a
Right.
live show, and now
Yes.
what's he about to say?
And I was not expecting to be on that list at all.
Well, okay,
Especially when you invited me to it.
Context. I did not just say I have a crush on Anthony.
That's out of nowhere, just I have a crush on Anthony.
I was answering the philosophical question, would you f a clone of yourself?
And I was the closest.
And so I said Wilbur, Anthony, Liam from One Direction, probably yes. You know what I mean? But I gave you an 8 on Anthony. That's all right.
Yeah, you did give me an A, so I wasn't
So
complaining.
shut the fuck up. Okay, thank you. Yeah, good.
Did you ever think that you would be putting together a gay crush tier list and performing a set revolving you being gay?
No.
Because when we first started hanging out, you were still...
I was so straight. That's how it works. When I met Anthony, I loved breasts. I was just obsessed with them.
It never even crossed my mind that your sexuality might be different than what you were saying.
Because you're a good, honest person that expects the best in people.
Just take you at face value.
Well, good for you, being
Yeah.
trusting and nice and honest. Why aren't you like Anthony, eh? WWAD? What would Anthony do? Thank you.
Not question someone's sexuality. I would take it at face value, even if they're lying.
Yes.
You were kind of repressing your truest self.
Growing up as a 90s kid in the UK
Yeah.
was just super homophobic generally,
Oh, yeah.
because there was just like toxic masculinity, people saying that like being girly, being gay is kind of bad. The number one thing was literally just that playground insult where you'd go like, oh, that's so gay.
Yeah.
Because even though that sounds weak, it's not that violent, it's not like a horrible, vicious attack or anything. It is just the soft implication that gay equals bad.
Yeah.
And if you know on some level that that's how you feel and you internalize that, it makes you go, oh, I'm broken. I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I went to an all-boys school, which is a terrible idea. Like single-sex schooling is a
Yeah.
big thing in the UK.
Did you have to wear like little outfits and everything?
You had to wear little blue outfits, had a little tie.
But was it very cute?
It was kind of a serve, and yet, like, it definitely brainwashes everybody to be crazy because
Yeah.
you don't live in a single-sex world. So if you have a school of just 1,000 guys and they're all 15, it is just a horrifying cauldron of testosterone and violence and self-loathing, and it smells terrible. And I was just thrown into the middle of that, and it was not a good environment. And it was that thing where people didn't know that I was gay, but because gay was the go-to insult for anything, I got bullied for being gay just by being like kind of a nerdy, nice kid, because I wasn't, particularly aggressive. I wasn't trying to just like headbutt locker rooms or stab people with compasses as I was walking around, and therefore I was weird. It's like, why wasn't I doing that?
That's
I should
what
be
this-
out there stabbing people.
So the
with
really cool hetero
protractors.
dudes were doing.
Exactly. So people would be like, Dan's a sucker. And I was like, I've never sucked a. It would turn out that then one day I would have liked to, and that fundamentally is what it came down to. And it took not only decades of me just existing, vibing, looking at the world becoming a better place, the internet becoming slowly less toxic. I don't know if you agree.
It's toxic in different ways.
It's still bad, but it used to be so much worse.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would have been like if I came out to my family 10 years ago, but in the year 2019, they were like, oh, well, we know that this is fine.
Because they've heard of it.
Yeah, they've heard of it.
They've been
before now. It's
exposed
kind of
to
thing
a
now. There's like
gay
gays on the
before.
TV. Well, apparently my grandma had just like her favorite gay waiter at an Italian restaurant, and that's what made her realize that gay people exist and they're not evil lizards. So good for her.
Did you cope with those feelings by being chronically online?
Yeah.
You said that you were online constantly.
It's a very roundabout way to go, Dan, did you have no friends?
Were you alone in your room?
Nerd. And this is the crazy thing. My journey with my sexuality and accepting myself and being a YouTuber, being out in the public and like being a creative person that has to tell the story of my life to be entertaining is so intertwined. If I didn't have a life on the forefront of the internet in the good side where people are open and accepting and queer and nice and have this audience of people that had already been so supportive of me, I would have never, ever made it anywhere near the place where I would have felt comfortable being honest with myself. So in a world where I didn't become a YouTuber, I'd probably still be in the closet right now. And that is crazy.
So you didn't decide for this life to happen?
I didn't decide. I just started YouTube because I was bored, and then it just kept happening, and then I didn't stop it, and then here I am.
Right, just kind of like how we did not consent to be born.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hello.
Hello, I did not choose this.
I mean, I know I was an accident as well, which
Yeah, so
helps.
was I.
Yeah.
Accidents for
Hell
life.
Yeah, boom, here we go. Explains everything.
I told my mom that I didn't choose to be born, and she got very upset with me.
Really? But you are the light
She's
of my
like-
life. Yeah, but am I wrong?
She's like, you were the sperm that fought the hardest to get the egg, so you did choose. I was like, that wasn't me. I don't associate with that sperm.
Yeah, no,
I do not
exactly. I mean, I
associate.
could have just, I mean, you know me, I was the sperm that probably like bounced into a fallopian tube and
Yeah.
like tripped into the egg.
Yeah, you did
Like,
not
There's
choose.
no way that I outcompeted other things. If there are less physically successful Dans out there in my dad's balls, then I can't imagine how terrible they'd be. So, I mean, I've got to assume it was an accident.
Are we still the sperm, or does the sperm disintegrate and merge?
We are not qualified to have this conversation. I spent a day with sexual health experts that can explain how attached we are to the sperms that we once were.
I'm just going to
Is
talk
now
to
what you need
sperm
do.
experts.
Okay, thank you. Right, I'm going to watch that.
I
Clearly
am
we're both
spending a day
into
with
it.
sperm experts right now, though, so. You've been on YouTube for 13 years.
Unlucky for some.
You've had many different eras and iterations of
Oh,
yourself and your career.
Like the Taylor Swift Eras tour, but just like
Yeah.
disastrous homosexual flailing. 2009
Yeah.
to 2011 is I'm just a bored teenager making YouTube videos. There's no plan.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that 2012 to 2015 is, oh my God, I'm gonna try to be a YouTuber.
were taking it seriously.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
2015 to 2018 is like the Dan and Phil era.
Right,
That's
duo.
when we went on the tour, and this is so much of a thing that we really have to acknowledge and celebrate it and do stuff. Because before we were just associated acts doing our own thing, and then it was
Yeah.
like, oh no, this is a thing, and we need to give the people the content that we want. And then it was the where did Dan go? Uh-oh, he gay era.
Spoiler alert, I'm not straight.
And then that turned into the why I quit YouTube post burnout question mark era.
Who spends a year making a coming out video, gets 10 million views and dips?
So we're in the post why I quit YouTube question.
Burnout question mark era.
Burnout era.
Yeah, yeah.
You made an enemy out of YouTube.
I did, accidentally. I got all in on being like, I'm a bit burnt out with the typical experience of being a YouTuber. And that's when the YouTube Originals department, rest in peace, were like, well, hey, Dan, we're doing all of these things with all of these people. So start working on like 3, 4, 5 things and you can keep being a YouTuber. And then the problem was I went all in on that for like a year and a half. And then they just canned the entire department at YouTube because it cost too much money. Oops.
Did YouTube not want you to talk about those details? Is that where you made an enemy?
I mean, look, everyone that I know at YouTube was like, Dan, we were always on your side. We wanted you to do these things. We were all really excited for it. They had no control over this entire part of YouTube just getting deleted because it was
Yeah.
spending too much money. So they were all sad for me. But obviously, professionally, they have to be like, okay, well, if Dan was like talking about all of this stuff, we can't like. And that's the weird
They
thing.
can't keep shoving,
Yeah, they
shoving
can't,
you
they can't
forward.
keep putting me on a billboard
Yeah.
because I was like, this sucked.
Like,
which is
check out
fair
Dan.
enough.
His most recent video is why I quit YouTube and why certain parts of YouTube suck.
So there you go. It's like they don't hate me, it's just that they don't love me as much as they used to. The day that I posted basically I'm gay was the best day, it was the best era, and even if there was only one YouTube video on my channel for like a year, it just means so much more than everything else because it's the whole thing that my life was leading up for. It's the video that could have only ever happened because of my life on YouTube, putting me in this position where I finally felt safe being able to have this conversation with myself.
Boy, there is a lot to unpack here, and it is a total clusterfuck. So strap yourselves in and let me tell you a queer little story about a boy named Dan.
So when that video was basically I'm gay video was released,
Yeah.
you said it was the best day of your life?
Probably. I was confident enough that people would be supportive for me to even write it in the first place. So by that point, I'd already come to terms with like, I am doing this. I thought the video was good.
Yeah, it was
I was
good.
really excited to upload
It was very good. You had accompanying animations.
Yeah,
It was this wild story.
Bisexual lighting.
This is kind of bisexual.
It is actually, yeah. I feel like you get that. Like, I went on this journey where when I started on YouTube, I was just trying to be super relatable and funny, talking about that everyday comedy stuff. You know, and comedians would be like, plain food, my bitch wife, am I right? Like I was very much like, guys, people that talk in the cinema, can you believe it? Oh my God. And then it got more self-deprecating. And then it got to the point in like 2017 where I was really struggling with my mental health because I'm someone that's always suffered with depression throughout my life, probably as a result of the gay thing.
Maybe.
Shout out to the schools.
I heard your mental health is attached directly
Yep.
to how much you are concealing or not concealing a part of you.
Exactly. And that bitch was buried in a nuclear waste disposal facility somewhere 4,000 miles under a mountain in Iceland.
Thank you for using miles, or else I might not have known.
What is up with that? I mean, that's called the Imperial Unit. I thought you guys were like anti-UK stuff, and yet
Nah,
you're
we
using the stupid
love it
measurements.
because it's confusing as and it doesn't make any
What
sense.
the hell is a yard?
3 feet,
What the hell's a foot?
12 inches.
Okay. And what's 12 inches? You know. Sorry, what are we talking about? Depression and yes.
That's what it was.
I think for now, we're taking the mental health thing slightly for granted. Like, it's very normal now to just be like, guys, I have anxiety, I struggle with
You
depression.
could literally say I'm taking a
sometimes."
mental health break, and people are like, okay.
That is
gotcha.
totally normal. In 2017, I was terrified to
Yeah.
upload that video
Oh,
because
for
I
sure.
was just thinking, are people going to say that I'm crazy? Are they going to
Yeah.
unsubscribe because they think that I'm weird? That was the surprise for me, that not only were so many of my audience so supportive and patient and empathetic, which, as we would probably know from how toxic YouTube had been since
Yeah.
2005, is not what you would expect from the majority of a YouTube comment section, was just overwhelming support, people listening and understanding. But so many people, and this is the thing that really hit me, said, I feel exactly the same way as you, and I didn't know until you told your story that I even had a problem. I just thought that's what life was like, and this is who I was. And that moment for me just made me realize how important it is for people to share their stories and to be honest. Because I think that the mental health conversation online has progressed over the last few years, where people used to be like, I have anxiety, lol, whereas now people are like, but are you okay for real? And I love that for us. We're on a healthy journey where we can still be self-deprecating, because people talk about this. Are you allowed to joke about your mental health? Am I allowed to joke about my sexuality? Is Anthony allowed to say that he's sitting here with a sperm expert right now? Yes.
Thank you for the. All I needed was that.
Don't cancel him.
Thank
Yet.
you. I'll do
Yet.
something
I'm not
worthy
doing
at some
something-
point.
I don't know what he's
worry.
going to do in a week, exactly. Where even if it is slightly problematic to joke about your own vulnerabilities, it is healthier to be joking about it than it is to completely pretend that you're fine than you're not. Because even if it's a bit weird, at least you're getting it out there. Because the
Yeah.
biggest thing is not keeping it locked under a vault inside. So if you need to crack an awful joke to just get something on the table, at least it's on the frickin' table.
Yeah.
And then once it's out there and then the kind of the joke wears off and anyone's around there to support you, that's when you can actually look at it and be like, well, now that we're there, am I gonna like get some therapy?
Right.
And that can be the process. So I feel like, yeah, you can be like, I'm a depressed gay. And it's like, well, yeah, that's where you started, but where are you going? And that's the exciting thing.
After I left Smosh, 2017, I started making my own videos, and there was this theme throughout all the videos that I started noticing where I always ended up crying in a bathtub, crying in the corner of the room by myself,
So funny.
crying in a Pikachu outfit with Pikachu mascara running down my cheeks. And I realized people started being like, oh, haha, you're always crying. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so I am making jokes that do come from a place that's
Yeah.
within me.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me reflect on that and be like, am I just a sad, depressed person? And that was actually good because it made me come to terms. I actually did start going to therapy after that.
Art therapy. That's what we were doing. You know what I mean? We were just trying to be funny, expressing ourselves.
Right.
And we accidentally learned about ourselves just by trying to express ourselves online.
I think I would have probably just not known about any kind of inner reflection. I think I would have probably stayed completely separate. Although I did listen to emo music.
yeah.
So that did force me to touch
Cry.
my inner
You
self.
might not have been dressed as Pikachu.
No.
But you still would have done the crying at some point.
And
So
I would have
there
had
you go.
skinny jeans on. And I would
Exactly.
have looked damn good.
But would you have had as many rings? Would you have had the tattoos? Would you have had the
No,
scarf?
I would not have been able
Would you
to
have the
afford
hair?
any of that.
No. But even though I feel like this is, you know, your confidence in expressing yourself aesthetically is also just a reflection of the authenticity journey that you've been on. So we love that for Anthony and all of his f***ing accessories. I hate having shit on my body.
Thank you.
I
You don't
can't
like
actually.
it? I don't think a single one of my rings would fit on your hands. You have monstrously masculine hands.
Thank you. But how big are your hands?
I got baby hands. I got baby hands.
Wait,
I got.
is this like Anthony cute hands
I got-
confirmation?
Oh, shut the f up! You're pushing your hand up higher than it actually goes.
I'm like, oh my God, Anthony.
You're like, wow, it goes down, it goes to the middle of my palm.
I just wish that I was less macho. I can't help it.
Here, try putting on. This is my biggest ring,
Okay.
and that one fit on your pinky.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's on. It's
Oh,
on the
fix
ring
on your ring
finger.
finger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now you could punch someone, and you could leave an indent.
I hate it. No, it just feels good. Okay, this is a therapy moment for me. Why am I so afraid of accessories? You have a tattoo. Oh my God, the cool Anthony. You came to my gay tier list show because you were getting inked in
That's
London.
true. I was getting inked that day.
And that is a commitment. It shows that you have confidence in something, that you're going to go for it. People ask me, Dan, what would you get a tattoo of? And I do not know, because the idea of committing to anything long enough for it to be on my body forever terrifies me.
No,
and
it
that
is.
sounds like a therapy thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty one-dimensional. I think all I'm motivated by is sex. No, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, why do I want to do the cool things? Why do I want to improve? And it's to be cuter in the eyes of somebody so I can get what I want.
So right now you're living your I want to be fuckable phase.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like-
Because I lived a whole I was straight for 28 years.
You didn't want to be fuckable then?
I loved breasts. Well, I maybe did on some level because I felt like I needed to look cute so that people would like me, but it wasn't going to go anywhere because it couldn't,
Right.
because I was a prisoner of myself. But here I am, I'm on the loose, and I'm trying to get loose.
That's why you don't wear rings. Let's see. So,
He's allowed to, we're friends. It's okay.
I have never made a joke like that with you, which is so weird because for almost our entire friendship, you were straight.
Yeah.
For my,
This is the sad thing, right? For so many years, there were friendships that I had, like mine with yours, where I felt like we were actually being held back from being closer as friends because I was afraid to have any kind of deep or meaningful conversation with you in case we accidentally got on the topic of anything
That's
to do with
true.
romance. And what did you think? Were you like, this guy's so mysterious, what the hell's wrong with him?
I thought you just really like to play Mario Kart and be quiet.
And that was it. Okay, and to be honest, look, that's not that wrong. That's really, I'm not that deep. There's not much that the Dan Iceberg, it's America.
I mean, we would talk about the struggles of creating content on YouTube and that kind of thing. We talked about deep stuff like that. But whenever I was like, so that time when you lost your virginity, that was cool, right?
I'm
What happened?
tired. You know what I mean?
You're like, I think I need to go get some more.
Guys, I think I sharded. I need to go right now.
Yeah, and we would bond over. What was
Bathroom.
that drink that we used to make?
Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise.
When you go to a YouTube convention and they got a free drink, they're gonna give you orange juice and tequila, and that hit the spot.
And
Okay.
a little grenadine on top for the
Yeah.
sunrise.
Well, there is that photo of us that you tweeted. When
Is
you were
that the
asking.
one?
That is the one. That is when we met. That's us after 4 tequila sunrises with
Let's-
our matching emo hair.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it here. That is a tequila sunrise in my hand.
Oh my God, the black polo.
I remember that moment. I was super drunk. Just 4 tequila sunrises deep. You had one with me though.
I did,
I said, you want to
yeah.
get a drink with me? What are you drinking? I said, tequila sunrise, baby, let's go. And you said, I'm in.
And yeah, I'm the gay one.
And with that said, I can't go without thanking BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode for very obvious reasons. So as most of you know, I'm a huge proponent of therapy. Therapy has completely changed the way that I view myself because it helped me understand where I came from and who I am now and how that affected who I am now. But therapy can be customized to whatever is right for you, and it can be useful in helping with motivation or feelings of depression, anxiety, stress, insecurity, or whatever else you might personally need. BetterHelp, of course, screens all their therapists to ensure that they have experience and that they're certified and licensed, and they provide customized therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone or even speak over the phone if that's not something that you're comfortable with. One of the hardest parts for me personally in finding a therapist was finding a therapist that I actually connect with, and it got super expensive bouncing around from one therapist to the next, trying to see who was working, which is why BetterHelp offers a more affordable alternative to in-person therapy where you can start communicating with your therapist in less than 48 hours. So with that said, that is why I'm thankful for BetterHelp, who are giving I Spent a Day with viewers and listeners of the completely uncensored podcast version of this show 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Padilla. That's betterhelp.com/Padilla. And guess what? Rocket Money is sponsoring this episode. That was correct. Rocket Money is an app that helps you track your expenses so you won't have to waste money on subscriptions that you don't even use. I just found out I've been subscribed to Fabletics for the past 8 years, which totals over 5K, and I'm totally fine. Okay? I'm fine. But I found out a little factoid here that makes me feel a little bit better. Most Americans are just as stupid as me, and they think they spend about $80 a month on subscriptions when it's actually closer to $200. And the really cool part is that Rocket Money shows all your subscriptions in just one place, and then it cancels anything that you don't want for you. It makes it super easy. And another really cool thing is that it can help you find subscriptions that you're being double charged for. Yes, I also just found out I was being double charged for Spotify. It's fine, I'm okay. You can get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/Padilla. Seriously, it could save you hundreds or more per year. That's rocketmoney.com/Padilla. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/Padilla. That's all I have to say. Now back to the world of Daniel Howell. Do you feel like your self-worth is attached to your numbers? Have they ever been attached to your numbers and your stats?
I think the last time I looked at YouTube Creator Studio was like 2017, because I was like, I just can't.
Did you try for a second though?
I tried for a second and I just didn't like what I saw, because you shouldn't find out, oh, you thought that you were funny. Well, they didn't care. You thought you liked this. Well, the robot says no. You get the red graph today. And I'm just like, I can't do this. No, I will just go live in a remote cabin in the woods and self-publish erotic furry fiction on Amazon, okay? Watch me. I'll do it.
So do I love doing YouTube? Yes. But also I feel like there are many things that I wish I could be doing more of, that I feel like the way that YouTube is set up,
It doesn't encourage you to do that.
Exactly.
But at least you got this. Hey, hey.
I got this show. Whee! No, but I really do love doing this show, and I feel like part of the reason I've been able to keep doing stuff on YouTube for so long is because I have this setting where I'm learning about other people's experiences.
And that is the exact point. After 13 years, I'm tired of talking about myself. I mean, that's like what me and Phil's second show was about, because that Dan and Phil era was us going, this accidentally became a huge thing. There's a load of people that really specifically like all the stuff that we do together. So we are gonna make content, we're gonna do a gaming channel, we're gonna do stuff, we're gonna write this book, we're gonna go on this tour, because we feel like before we all get old and die and all of these YouTube people grow up and everything changes and everything's gone, this needs to be celebrated, needs to be locked in. And so that second show we did, Interactive Introverts, was literally like, we'll do whatever you want. We'll give the people what they want. We had a bunch of people that would send emails being like, I went to your show and it made me really upset because it was fucked up how crazy this audience is, and they feel like they can just, tell you to do it. And I'll be like, that's funny. Yeah, you can calm down a bit because it was just supposed to be funny, but that is the point.
That is the point. You are their puppet.
Yeah, exactly. Because I made a video about parasocial relationships, talking about how we are way too invested in these people online. We feel like we're entitled to their personal lives. YouTubers are like our mental health rides on the opinions. You're daily vlogging, these people are controlling your life, and yet also we have to be like, please buy merch. At the same time, these people are like, oh, I love my favorite YouTubers. They don't even know you. It's crazy, it's toxic, it's messed up. And so because the video was about it, I thought, I think it's funny, I think it's a shit post. I'm gonna call the video, We Are in a Relationship, because it's a video about how I am in a parasocial relationship with the audience. That's what the video is about. And because of the clickbait, it got twice as many views as all the other things.
Because they thought you were coming out about being in a relationship.
It was not a better video than anything else I've ever made. It was just the thumbnail and the title, and that made me go, oh my God, this hellhole website.
It's pretty fucked up. I've been pushed to the point.
Always has been.
When I did not know what I was doing after Smosh, where I was like, I'm gonna think of a title and thumbnail and then figure out a video. which is
Honestly?
so fucked up.
Honestly. So after I've done this series, I'm a bit like, because people keep going, oh, Dan, I've really enjoyed this thing that you did after Why I Quit YouTube. What's next? And I'm like, next?
Do you have anything?
I don't know. I'm going to have to really think. Could I find something like this that somehow plays the game and is exciting and inspiring and allows you to do something that you love and keeps you going? Maybe. Or will I just move to the remote cabin? We'll find out.
So have you thought about leaving the internet behind completely?
No, because I like attention. I mean, this is like, what would I abandon my career completely? And the answer is no, because I need external validation to feel like I exist. I just know that's the thing. Does it come from me talking to myself when I was 7? I don't know. I just know it.
You're amazing.
I like attention. I hate being perceived. I hate people being intrusive. I want to put up boundaries. And yet I can't exist without attention or validation. Yeah.
Do you want the validation to be about you or your work?
Work. Yeah.
Right. So there is a world out there where you
I'm an
are no
anonymous
longer-
author, self-publishing fairy fiction on Amazon, 5-star ratings, and maybe I get everything that I want from life. Who knows?
What is it about doing what you do that brings you the most joy?
What does hit is someone being like, you made a positive impact on my life, because it's that kind of gratitude that is long-term. So the short-term, the attention, the likes, the this, that, and the other, that is kind of, it's fun, it's fleeting. It's when people go, you opening up about your mental health put me on a journey to sort my life out. You opening up about being gay helped me come out to my family. That's what's like, that's why I get out of bed in the morning.
In a sense, you are who you needed when you were younger to see on the internet.
It is exactly that. I look back at 15-year-old Dan just feeling completely alone and isolated in the world, just like so stressed, so anxious on this road to like horrible depression, being in the closet, and just knowing that if I share my life and if I can make it funny enough for people to get these horrible, traumatizing topics out on the table, then I feel like I'm actually doing something with my life.
I went to your show, your tour.
Yep.
We're All Doomed. I was so thankful that you ended with a monologue about
Yeah.
how, even though you broke down how the world is complete shit,
AI is going to take over everything. Capitalism, climate change, sun burping, we're all going to instantly die. It's not looking good for the future of humanity.
but there is a little cherry on top that you put at the end. There's so much more to life than focusing on that. Like
Yeah.
you can be aware of all that stuff and know that it's happening in the background, but you don't
Still
have to
gotta
put
live every day.
all of your effort and energy on that.
And it's just realizing that as stressed as we can all be about how terrible the world is and all these bad things that keep happening, if we just share our stories, if you have conversations with people on these chairs and that opens people's minds and they talk about things, when you think about what you can do to other people as an individual,
Right.
we all have the power to save someone else.
I mean, do you feel like writing that show, you went in with the idea that we are actually all doomed and that you were forced to write that kind of positive ending?
I was in a really bad place just before Why I Quit YouTube. Imagine that your dreams have all come true and you have your chance for something to happen. What if you get the chance and it goes wrong? Like, is that almost worse?
After a
who
year and a half
knows?
of dedicating all your time.
Exactly. In that moment, I was just like, damn, if this was my one shot where everything would be building up to this moment and I finally thought the best thing was going to happen and it fell apart, then what is the point in me even trying to live? I was honestly like, what was all of this for?
Yeah.
Like, what was it for? What was I heading towards? What is the reason that I'm doing any of this stuff? And then lockdown happens. You look into the news and how terrible everything was. And I was just like, the world is awful. And I was just thinking, I have to come up with something. So this show, the We're All Doomed, and me going on this tour, it's not just me trying to come up with a funny show about it. I literally went on the tour and wrote the show to save my own life. If I do a show called We're All Doomed about why life is so terrible, and then it ends on trying to find a reason to be hopeful for the future and thinking that as individuals we do matter, I am trying to make myself believe that every night I do it on stage. So literally doing the show for me is an affirmation.
That's like the definition of manifesting what you want to be with your life. You just wrote it.
Yeah, and that is, I don't know, the privilege that we get. And when I think about YouTube and social media, for all of the terrible things about it, the beautiful thing about it is it does allow anyone anywhere in the world to have a voice and to create what they want whenever they want. And that's the beautiful thing, is that for all the reasons why I quit YouTube, why I think that all of social media is terrible, at least we're all here. At least no matter who you are, you can find a community, you can express yourself. Now the world of social media is this place where you can find your tribe. You can be introduced to so many different kinds of people on the show and realize, wow, the world is huge. Humanity is so exciting and diverse and different. And I think that is what we need to focus on.
It's interesting because it goes both ways. The way that I feel directly reflects the way that the videos are.
Yeah.
The beginning of the pandemic really being horrible, my videos took a dark turn. My interviews were
Yep.
like kidnapping survivors, school shooting survivors, human trafficking survivors,
Yep,
death
yep,
row
remember.
survivors, all these extremely dark topics. And they were a reflection of the way that I felt about the world.
Yeah.
And it wasn't helping. It was kind of playing
feeding
into,
it.
it was
It's fun to feed
confirming
it.
that the world was
Like when you're spiraling a little bit, you're like,
Yeah.
I'll just be real. I'll go there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, I want to get off this wild ride.
Exactly, and then you can't get off. So then, once I could start doing these interviews in person again, I started
God,
making them a
yeah.
little bit more fun, going into, kind of having like some positive takeaway, and it's directly reflected my mental health.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I feel like the audience gets to see where I'm at.
Absolutely.
But
The
also
vibes
what
are
they see
immaculate.
is helping me get to a better place as well.
Well, thank you. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Oh my God.
Thank
oh God, we're so
you.
thankful. Look
Thank
at us. We
you.
did it. We somehow made this hellscape great.
Thank you.
You're doing it again. You're beginning and ending it with the where do I go from here?
Handshake.
Just a normal
It's a
handshake?
normal handshake
Okay.
with your massive fucking hands.
My macho hands.
Wait. Do you have that outfit?
Wait, the nun outfit.
You have the nun outfit.
It's in a suitcase.
Do you have it?
I mean,
Is it here?
what? I mean, no, we'd have to go get it, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's at the hotel.
Aw, shucks.
Oh no, we
It's
could have
okay,
done
we won't
nun
get
thing.
that.
Yeah, it's been a weird journey, my
Yeah.
hot boy autumn, because I spent so many years on the internet just being like trapped in the closet, not being authentic, and now I'm out on the road being my gay ass self, and that's manifested in strange ways, like me going out to a gay bar in Nashville, Tennessee, dressed as a slutty nun from Spirit Halloween. It was weird.
So when I ask you what the future looks like for you, it might include a little bit more
might-
non-outfits?
Yeah, I might just join a convent.
You know what? You would look good there.
Not, yeah, it would be a serve, and I need Jesus.